Morgan edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. All eyes remain on the tropics as Hurricane Gaston meanders the Leeward Islands and the Bahamas braces for the arrival of another storm system, which is expected to affect our archipelago. Forecasters predicting a 50 to 80% chance of formation during the next 2 to 4 days. Hence, officials are on alert. With that said, we go now to Kirk James in studios. Kirk, what can you tell us about this storm impacting the northern Bahamas?
Thank you very much, Shashina. Of course, all eyes on the tropics, the area southeast of our chain of islands. And we're concerned about this tropical wave or disturbance. I'm going to call it, it's really an area of low pressure with no well-defined center. And so we want residents to stay alert to this, all the subsequent newscasts on this, because conditions now only marginally favorable for development could become much more favorable as it enter our chain of islands. And that's supposed to be by tomorrow for the southern Bahamas, central Bahamas, southern portion to northwest Bahamas on Saturday, as our Nassau office has intimated already. For our extreme northwest Bahamas, we're going to concentrate pretty much on Bimini, Grand Bahama, and Abaco. Look like this is going to be a rainmaker. Flooding going to be a very, very real concern. And so we want residents, particularly those in low-lying area, to pay close attention to the news item. We'll let them know if any warnings or watches are issued, and particularly, like I say right now, flooding. Rainfall in the areas of, let's say, 1 to 3 inches originally. The latest projections have it when it leaves the Bahama chains, goes into the eastern Gulf of Mexico, up towards the northeastern panhandle, look like 6 inches. So we'll put it at a medium of 3 inches for now. That could cause flooding, especially if it's in a short period of time. Wind-wise, doesn't look like much wind impact right now. However, this could all change. If the system develops or intensifies in our waters, this could all change. So these things need to be watched closely. We want residents in low-lying area to pay close attention to our newscasts, our news broadcasts, weather-wise, so that they could be informed in the event of flooding becomes imminent. Right now it's likely, and it could be imminent. Back to you, Shashina.
Thank you so much. And of course, that's our chief meteorologist here on Grand Bahama, Kirk James. Well, at a time of storm preparation is the key. Our news team was busy today from the eastern to the western part of the island, speaking with residents on what they are doing to get prepared. First, our team coverage begins with Sabrina Brown, who spoke with another local forecaster on this impending storm.
Hurricanes form in warm tropical regions where the water is at least 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 27 degrees Celsius. The storms also need moist air and converging winds. According to weather experts, there are several areas in the Atlantic where storm systems form.
They could form out off the African coast, or they can form in somewhere in the Atlantic, or they can also form for our area. They also can form someplace in the Gulf Stream. That's where they could either start, or mostly for the tropical waves, they start and they migrate from east to west.
Meteorologist Trenard Tynes outlines how these systems develop before reaching hurricane status.
If we start off with the tropical waves, if the conditions are right and you get a tropical disturbance, once you start to get organization, it might not be very good, but you might just get just a light circulation, but no spinning, as we call it, start to rotate around a low. Now, once you start to get that circulation, we call it a depression. That's when it just start to have a close, but because you almost can see a little small circle in the middle, and then all the thunderstorm activity start to rotate around that center point.
Once the winds exceed 39 miles per hour, a depression is upgraded to a tropical storm. When a storm's maximum sustained winds reach 74 miles per hour, it is called a hurricane. Now, a storm could develop rapidly or slowly depending on environmental conditions. Tynes says there are also factors that could prevent a storm from advancing.
We had the Saharan dust coming over, and that was dampening the effects in the atmosphere for any tropical system to actually develop and strengthen. But because we had a slackening in the Sahara dust, we also had a loosening of the Bermuda High, and also the upper level winds that is what is keeping not conducive of forming anything, everything has fallen off or slackened off.
Italia Hall picks up our storm coverage in West Grand Bahama.
West Grand Bahama has been affected by a number of hurricanes over the years, and residents of that area, especially boaters, are on the watch once again. Now our ZNS News team visited the western end of Grand Bahama, and from what we can see, not much boats were in the water. Now this resident say he is putting together his boats and securing them, and he's encouraging other boaters to do the same.
I ain't waiting for a last minute call to rush to take all these boats out of the water, because I don't have sufficient trailer to pull all these boats out of the water. So I always like to be ahead of time and waiting for the last minute. Then if it's anything I could help somebody through Western here, I would be glad to go and help them to get the boat out of the water.
Traz Hedburn said today will be the last day that he takes his boat into the water.
People go out there to try and make money. It's a job for some people, so it may be a little difficult when they coming in, or they may want to play the weather close, but to be safe is always safe because you can go out another day. If the hurricane catch you out there, you may not be able to go out another day.
Owner of Boardwalk Seafood, Kirk Neely, says he's prepared.
You know, we have contingency plans in place where we move the boats and we take the bigger boats into safer grounds. And so we're just waiting, and by weekend, Saturday morning, if it's serious, we'll start moving and doing what is necessary. In terms of the building and property, we pretty much have all of our equipment up in the air.
Chairman of the West End Township, Philip Smith, says it's important for residents to take any threat of a pending weather system seriously.
West End is a place where it's a low area when it comes to storm, and we have experienced that already. And so I don't think people in this community, residents, should take it lightly at this time.
Now overall here, residents are hoping that there's not any threat of a storm or hurricane in this area. Let's now go over to Megan Shepard, who's in the Southern District.
Thanks, Italia. Well, here in the Southern District, the general mood and feel seems to be business as usual. We spoke to a few residents who say they're not particularly concerned about the traveling weather system, but if it does come to Grand Bahama, they are prepared to take the necessary steps.
Of course, I'll be ready to take steps immediately. As soon as I hear how bad it will kick up, then I'll move right away. But as it stands right now, there's no need to fret yourself. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. When I have little thunder and lightning, that's dangerous. So if you see that kicking up, you know, stay from the window, you know, power stuff, cut it off and hang low.
People like they ain't around but the weather, but I just hope it don't come to Grand Bahama. I just hope it turn next week. But I hope people are just prepared with it, because the last time people was Freeport, this whole area was flooded last time. So all I want them just to be prepared with this. Just be prepared for it. That's all.
Now we also spoke to residents who wish not to appear on camera. They say as it stands, they are not worried about the impending storm, but they will be monitoring the system. Some residents were also not even aware of the developments thus far. Hamilton added that he is hoping that the storm does not develop and come to the Bahamas.
I doubt that at this moment right now. I feel like it will get a little effect from it, but it wouldn't come our way fully. But it wouldn't develop. It'll be all right as it is right now.
With intervals of rain throughout the day in this coastal community, water could already be seen making its way inland, but still no major changes in the area. And that's the situation here in the Southern District. We now take a look at what's happening in Freetown with Kimberly Mullings.
Some settlements of East Grand Bahama are known for flooding during the hurricane season. We spoke with members of the community about some of the preparations they're making. Linda Roberts has lived in East End her entire life, and over the years, she says, it seems as though residents have stopped preparing for storms of any kind, this hurricane season included.
When we hear of hurricane, we just sit back and lay back, relax, like, okay, this one gonna pass us by. I don't see any preparation as is, but when I leave from here this morning, when I go back home, I will begin doing some stuff, moving some stuff away from the house and trying to make the necessary arrangement.
East Grand Bahama resident and Chief Counselor Marcus Cooper says while Bahamians tend to wait until the last minute to make preparations for the hurricane season, local government has taken a different approach.
We would have already, at the beginning of the hurricane season, did our initial assessment as to what we need to do in the event of a hurricane. We already put in place our plan in the event of evacuation, bus transportation, for sweet and ski boat transportation, shelter management courses, training would have already been done in conjunction with NEMA.
Cooper says local government is still busy doing work in the event a weather system develops into something more.
We're going through the community and seeing what elderly person may need to be rendered some assistance. Also, to have an idea of exactly where all of our disabled persons are in the community. In the event we have to evacuate on moment notice. We know exactly what storms can do to a life, family, community, and the country at large. So it's always good for us to be prepared.
Preston Cunningham, Family Island Administrator for Freeport and East Grand Bahama, urges all residents not to take weather advisories lightly. Preparation is key.
We know for a fact that we live in the hurricane zone. We know of the time frame for the hurricanes to come, and therefore we must use the knowledge smartly in an effort to ensure that it meets us.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us, there's more news when we come back.